Well. Good afternoon, West Ham fans. Could Lopetegui be our new manager? Well, happy Friday, one and all. Congratulations, another week done. And it's the West Ham Network. I'm Russ. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, go back and check out the Advent calendar video we did today. 22 is Craig Forrest. All you got to do is comment. It's completely free. Subscribe and comment. And if you comment multiple times and if you respond to other people's comments and reply, you've got more chances of winning. We're going to have two winners again today. So lots of chances to win some lovely West Ham stuff. Although, in all honesty, you're not going to get it until after Christmas now, with the way the Christmas post is all sorted out. Anyway, also, keep an eye on the channel and subscribe and hit the bell notification, all that type of stuff. We could have, I think, Irish Tommy's on tonight, so that should be quite fun. Particularly after the Liverpool game, it'd be quite an interesting episode with Irish Tommy, I'd imagine. So, Lopetegui. Now, according to media reports, he is one of the top candidates to replace David Moyes. Now, I think it was yesterday, it was revealed that Moyes is yet to hold talks with West Ham in terms of extending his contract, which is due to expire at the end of the summer. So the assumption is, unless there's a massive upturn, not massive upturn in form, but if there is he does something spectacular, then the likelihood is he won't have his contract extended in the summer. That's the narrative we've been led to believe. Now, according to several sources yesterday and today, Lopetegui is keen to return to the Premier League. He had a spell with Wolves, obviously, as you know, and he left on the eve of the current season, following the relative fire sale within Wolves because of money. Obviously, they were trying to buy. Was it Cresswell? They couldn't afford more than £2 million for him, and so they sold loads of players. Like Ruben Neves went to SPL for a hell of a lot of money to balance the books, and he never really had any chance to get that money back and but invest in players. And obviously, then Gary O'Neill came in to replace Julen for this season. So, he's always had a desire to return back to the Premier League. Apparently, he still lives in Wolverhampton, and he hasn't moved out of the UK and moved out of England because he still wants to have another crack at the Premier League. And by the reports we're reading, Man United and West Ham are two of his preferred destinations. He was approached for the Nottingham Forest job, which he turned down. And then obviously Forest went for Nuno Espirito Santos, which seems a bit random, but actually Lopetegui and Santos both share an agent, which was obviously the super agent, Jorge Mendes, of course. So I thought I'd delve in a little bit into Lopetegui, look at who he is as a manager, go through his sort of managerial career, and see if it's a good fit for West Ham. Yeah. So in terms of his stats, I love some stats. This is how he what's the word? Falls out. This is how he falls out. He's 57. He's managed over 400 games. He's won the Europa League. He's won the Euro 21s and the Euro 19 championships. He's got a win ratio about 57%. His clubs, we'll go through it in a bit more detail, but heavily, obviously, La Liga focused in Spain, and they did spend some time in Porto, and obviously Wolves. And he does prefer a 4-3-3 attacking style. Obviously, we've faced his sides, both Wolves side and also obviously Sevilla in the Europa League the season before last. But in terms of him as a character, he was a goalkeeper in his playing career. Not astounding playing career. I think he made one appearance for the full Spanish national side and a few for the Basque country. Heavily sort of focused. Most of his games was played for Rayo Vallecano. He did make one appearance for Real Madrid, a few for Barcelona, but nothing sort of spectacular. He retired in 2002 from playing professional football, and then actually went into coaching the following year, where he was actually the under 17 coach, assistant under 17 coach, and he then had, so I'm just going through his, then he had a spell at Rayo Vallecano, but was sacked after the 10th match in the 03-04 season. Then he was a sports commentator for a while, a panelist for the 2006 2006 World Cup, and then he went back into coaching with Real Madrid B side, Real Madrid Castilla, where he played in the 90s for them, and they were currently in the third tier of Spanish football. Then he moved to working within the Spanish national side within the youth system. So he won as I said, the European Under 19 Championship, and then the Under 21 Championship under his stewardship. And then he left when his contract expired. Then he went after that to Porto. At Porto, he did have a great time. He signed several Spanish players, as you can imagine. He had the club's biggest budget ever as well. They got to the quarterfinals of the Europa League, the Champions League, and then some season and a half later was sacked as they were eliminated from the Champions League. They were third in the domestic league and hadn't won anything under his stewardship. So yeah. Then he returned back to Spain, took a little break, went back to Spain, became actually he was, before he took the full national side job, he was linked with the Wolves job. That was in 2016, so that was some like 6 years before he actually joined Wolves. But he took over the Spanish national side, and was he had a couple of years there, to be honest. He took over, but I don't know if you remember, he, during his time at the Nationals, they had already qualified for the 2018 World Cup, and then it was announced that he was going to be leaving before the World Cup, to then become Real Madrid manager. And Spain then, as soon as that was announced, basically sacked him and replaced him with Fernando Hierro for the 2018 World Cup in Russia, wasn't it? No, he's been there. Then he went to Real Madrid and took charge of Real Madrid. Obviously, a huge job, but didn't really work out for him there really much. And following a string of bad results, including losing 5-1 in El Clasico, he was fired the day after, replaced by Santiago Solario. But then after that, he went to Sevilla about a half season afterwards, 2019, was appointed Sevilla's manager on a 3-year contract. First year, they finished fourth, qualified for the Champions League, and then got to the final of 2020 Europa League final, beating Inter Milan 3-2. That was his first domestic club honour, basically, and his only club honour, really. He then signed another 2-year extension, but unfortunately, after was it 5 losses in 8 games in 2020, was dismissed, including a 4-1 drubbing by Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. Don't forget also he lost to the mighty Hammers in the Europa League as well, or the 2 leagues. A fair, having taken the first game in charge in the lead, and obviously then we beat them at London Stadium. Then after leaving Sevilla, he was interviewed again for the Wolves job in 2019, and he initially turned it down because of his father had passed away. His father was in ill health, so he wanted to be with him. He was then approached again a little while later and became head coach effectively in November 2022. Had a relatively successful time at Wolves. He eventually led them to 13th place that season. And then, as I said, towards the end of that campaign, going into the summer, there was speculation he was going to leave because of basically Wolves' financial situation. And obviously, then he left pretty much on the eve of the 2023-24 season. So, on average, he's at, I think he's something like a season and a half. So he's not going to be based on previous, um, well, his whole managerial career, doesn't hang around for a long time. And also part of the reason why he left Wolves was because of a lack of control on transfers. Now we know with Tim Steidten, he wants full control of all the transfers, and he's director of football. So I don't know how that would play out, that uh, relationship between Julen and Tim. That's why, although it sounds on paper a really interesting, I just don't think he's the right answer for me. I don't think he's the right person. We want someone who's going to take it as a project. No disrespect, but he's 59 now. He's 57 now. Yes, he's very well experienced. He's very experienced in La Liga. He has experience in the Premier League, but it's almost as a manager, and where he's had people sell players and buy players over his head. That's caused him a frustration, and he's left that club. Actually, I think that's probably the only club he's actually left rather than been sacked in terms of Wolves, which is maybe not the best. Maybe not the best. Um, it'll be interesting to see what happens. We all know there will be a new manager at West Ham at some point. We know that David Moyes is not going to be the manager forever. Is Lopetegui the guy you want? Based on previous experience, based on what we've spoken about? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be fascinated. Obviously, we've spoken about Michael Carrick before. Obviously, they're through to a semi-final of the Carabao Cup, aren't they? Be nice, wouldn't it? That would have been nice. Still not bitter. Still haven't got over it. Still haven't got over it. But there's so many other candidates I think available. For me, I think it's already been done. Whether it's Moyes is also a new contract, or whether the new manager's been agreed. For me, it's all been done. So either if it was Lopetegui, he would have already been in my opinion. Based on having a poor run of rep. We know that Sullivan doesn't like to bring in new managers who you have to pay for managers basically. So it might be managers coming to the end of their contracts, that type of thing. With all the speculation when Moyes was really sort of heavy speculation that he was going to potentially leave, potentially be relieved of his job. You think he's been available since August. And yeah, he has turned down other clubs, as I said, the likes of Nottingham Forest. Maybe he's one of the candidates for a potential Crystal Palace job if Moy leaves and retires again for his second retirement. Obviously, Steve Cooper is now available as well for that position. So it's going to be I think the summer's going to bring a real merry-go-round of managers. But the one as I said, our next appointment is not going to be a manager. It's going to be a head coach who works within a European style management setup. Lopetegui has played in a European style setup, but even at Sevilla, he did have a lot of control. Personally, I think he likes to be in control of everything. So I don't think he'll be the right match. That's what I think. But let me know what you think. That's just my opinion. We all have our own opinions and we're all entitled to them. Anyway, keep an eye on the channel. Bring you loads of stuff. And then tomorrow, obviously, we've got Man United, which we're bound to win because we rested players for the semi-final, didn't we? There we go. Take care. Stay safe. Stay warm. Stay humble. Keep the faith, my friends. And come on, you bloody iron.